welcome to the very first episode of Leo Talk, sponsored by Harrington's Cafe. We are super excited to kick off this brand new series brought to you by the awesome Leo Club of Pepiliyana Woodlands. This is where we get to dive deep, have some laughs, and get inspired by incredible individuals who make Leo District 306A2 the powerhouse it is. And guess what? We are starting at the top. Someone who's steering the ship, leading our district with energy and a whole lot of enthusiasm. So, get ready to meet our district president, Leo District 306A2, Leo Eshan Kasturiarachchi. So, first let's break the ice with some fun questions. If you could magically add one extra hour to every Leo meeting, what hilariously unproductive activity would you fill it with?
Hilarious.
Unproductive activity.
Unproductive activity would I fill it with?
Yes.
Probably like a get to know the other person kind of something like segment like that. Because the thing is that our Leo meetings are very formalized now. I think that's a negativity I think when it comes to our meetings and all that. But I think better to make it unformalized or informal in the sense. So better to know new people that are in the meeting, whether it's a board member, whether it's an exco member, or whether it's just a member or a prospect, whatever. It's fun to have a segment like that in order to understand who are joining with us for this Leo movement from different clubs and from different areas within the country itself.
So would you suggest any game for that? Would you suggest any game for that to know each other?
A real game?
Yes, a made-up game also. That's okay.
Okay, I don't know whether this is relevant to the previous question, but a game that I would like to have is if you have played Monopoly.
Yes.
It is an interesting game to play. You can actually get to understand the person's attitude, how they understand how things work and all that, and how they think. So that's a good game to add to any meeting, but it won't end. So you can continuously go for like hours and hours. So yeah.
Okay. So imagine you are creating a Leo superhero team. What would your superpower be, and what would your superhero name be?
Superpower would probably be able to read minds. Probably, I think that's a very relevant thing that we need because people have different thoughts and different things and all that. So, it would be best to know what the other person is thinking while being sat in a room like this or whatever. A name. Now that's a difficult question. Leo Mind or something like that. I don't know. Something that comes to mind is Leo Mind or something like that.
So next we have what's the most unexpected item you've ever had to use during a Leo project?
Unexpected item. Unexpected item during a Leo project. Right. Okay, so I don't know whether this is an unexpected item in the sense, but for one of the projects, so we had to give certificates and all that. So we unfortunately had printed less than the amount that was required for the giving away of certificates. So we have to unfortunately give away some files that we had. Then we had to kind of like crop out the photo and just replace it with a certificate when the final photos came out. So we had to actually give out files, the cardboard files as certificates to the students there. So that was an unfortunate situation, but have to manage somehow, right? So that was something like that.
Okay. So if you had to pick a theme song for your year as district president, what would it be and why?
I have to sing a song? No, right?
You could go.
So it have to be a real song, right?
Yes.
Okay. You guys are putting me in very difficult situations. Right. I would probably pick the Lion King song because no one knows the meaning.
Okay.
But I think some people can vibe to it even though they don't know the meaning and all that. I think same goes for us. Everyone might not know what's happening, everything, but they actually have fun, have that interest within the Leo movement. I think ultimately it's about that. No, it's not about having a whole lot of knowledge, knowing everything, but it's about having that fun, having that fellowship, friendship within the movement. I think the Lion King song is something that we all can vibe to, right?
And our last icebreaker question: What's one Leoism or a funny or unique phrase used in your district that you think should become a global Leo saying?
Global
Leo saying.
Leo saying. A funny phrase, a phrase that we use. Oh, what do we have? Oh, that's a difficult question. So we use all of these formal ones and all that. No. So a phrase that I use is from this year is the word expectation is a word that I use. I don't think in the previous years we have used. I don't know. I don't think it's a funny word or anything like that. But it's a saying that I use. The expectation out of anything, right? Whether it's a project, whether it's a meeting, whether anything that we do, we have to have an expectation as to what we can expect from that event or whatever the outcome, right? So I think that's a word that I think we should be using, because even in leadership experience opportunity we have an E, right? Expectation is something that we can use in order to kind of understand what the outcome should be from whatever project or whatever meeting or whatever initiative that we conduct. I think that is something that I might add into the question, into the answer.
Okay, thank you for that. So now let's shift to some important questions.
Okay.
As a district resident, what's the most significant impact you hope to leave on Leo District 306A2 by the end of your term?
End of my term is basically how I started it was my theme is change, empower through leadership, and the keyword is change. Right? So what I want Leos to actually do is experiment within the Leo movement. That is something I have also done throughout numerous district events. I have experimented. Yes, I have failed as well. That is something to be expected. You can't experiment and not expect to fail, right? Failure is going to linger here and there, but you have to have that innovative mindset. You have to have that mindset to empower change and ensure, like, if you do something differently, you can fail or succeed. Failure is something non-negotiable. It will happen, but if you succeed, it can have an impact that is very long lasting, right? Different events that we see within the Leo movement now are results of empowering this change. Every event, someone has introduced it for the first time, right? And it has continued for 20 years now, right? For 20 years time. So that is something that I want to leave within the Leo movement for the 20th year now, celebrating our 20th anniversary and all that, is to actually become the change, become the person that empowers change, and don't be afraid to innovate, try new things, because failure might come, failure might arise, but then again, success might also be a result out of it, and it can be a long-term impact. It can create a long-term impact within the movement itself.
Yes, so like you said, definitely failing is better than never trying. And
exactly.
Definitely experiments would lead to bigger adventures that we never think
exactly
of.
Now if you try, if you have a thought in your mind, if you want to try something out, if you do not try it out, there is 100% failure. That's 100% failure, because you're not trying it at all. But if you try it, there can be a failure rate, but there's also success rate there as well. Yeah.
So our next question is, what are the key leadership qualities that you believe are essential for a successful Leo leader in today's world?
Okay, so I'll say number one would probably be communication. It's not about the language, I'm saying, in the sense of communication. Now for Leo, our main language is English, right? We use English in terms of giving a speech or in writing or whatever, we use English. But I think Sinhala is our mother tongue usually. So it's not the language, but rather how you communicate. It's not just about how we talk, it's about how you listen, how you react to things, because now our generations are different, right? We have different generations coming forth, joining the Leo movement and all that. They think very differently, they talk different things, they watch different things, they have different attitudes, right? So your communication is a key aspect that bridges these gaps between different generations, age groups, right? So you have to have clear communication, and also in the sense you have to have another part of communication is also having this attitude called empathy. You have to understand the other person, how they think. There are things they might say aloud, there are things they might not say, right? You have to have that understanding, have that empathy as well. So communication, empathy, and also having this sense of inspiration. You have to inspire yourself rather than waiting for another person to inspire or motivate you. You have to know what your role is within the Leo movement, whether you're a member or a prospect, a director, an exco member, or a president. You have to know what your role is. You have to inspire yourself to keep on moving forward throughout obstacles and all that, right? And I think the final attitude or quality, I would say, is discipline. Discipline in the sense, the basic discipline that you need to have, but also the discipline to continue what you're doing. Right? You can start off super, right? You can start off from here, but by the end of the year, you can be down here. That's because you lack discipline in order to keep it going. Right? There can be ups and downs. That's okay, but you have to keep going. That's the discipline that you need to have throughout the year, throughout your tenure within the Leo movement, whether you are a member, whether you are a president, or anywhere between. You have to have that discipline as well. So I think those are the key attitudes, aspects, I think, that the Leo leader should have in order to succeed within the Leo movement.
Okay. So our next question is, what's been the most challenging aspect of leading a district, and how have you navigated it?
Challenging aspect, again, is communication. I would say, because I think it's as I said, it's the most required attitude, that quality that you need to develop, but also the most difficult quality to develop, right? Because anything now, if I tell you one thing, and one might define it in another way, right? People think differently, right? That is the most difficult thing to kind of develop, is to how do you cater to different people, how do you cater the same message to different people in different manners, right? So that's one of the most difficult things that I'm still developing within myself, within this Leo, especially within this year. So that is something that I have experienced, because there have been, I think we have faced issues due to lack of communications, due to issues within our communications, whether it's through formal manners or informal manners. But I think ultimately it is something that we are developing going forward throughout our spoken communications, within our written ones, in our reports, everything. So I think that is one of the difficult areas that we as a district, and myself as a district president, have experienced in terms of, one of those areas that needs to be developed and is still under development.
So any measures that you would suggest to navigate them to overcome them?
In terms of communication,
Yes.
right? So as I said, now communication is it's a skill that you need to develop. So you need to have that sense of understanding as to who you're talking with, number one, right? So you can't, if you're telling the same message to different people in the same tone, same manner, they would not register it in the same manner, right? Some people might be very positive and they will register it quickly right then and there in the same attitude, same way that you want them to take it on. But another person might think of it in a different manner. But you have to understand how they would think about it. You have to have that understanding about the people around you. Now, myself being a district president, I have a district council of 30 people. Now, I have to know that all of these 30 people have 30 personalities, 30 ways of understanding things, right? So when I speak with them, I have to cater to their own needs, own requirements, own patterns, own attitudes, right? And also have to understand that whatever we are doing within the Leo movement, we cannot force the other person to do it. Because by the end of the day, we have to understand we are doing a voluntary service, but at the same time, we have taken up a leadership position within that voluntary movement. So there should be a balance between that. We can't force the other person to work, but then again, they have to also understand that we have taken up a leadership role in order for us to work. There can be commands, there can be places that we need to be tough, we need to have that attitude, but have to understand there can be scenarios that can be negative and positive within the Leo movement, and you have to have that sense of communication in order to mitigate any negativities and go forth with the positivities.
So with that, we're moving to our next question. So beyond service projects, what do you believe is the most valuable aspect of being a Leo?
Leadership. Simply put, right? The problem, this is not a problem, but this is how we view Leo. Now, people think from an outside perspective people think what we do within the Leo movement is service, right? We do all of these projects, we do different types of projects under different categories for different people around the country. But I think ultimately our goal is not service. Our goal should be to develop leadership, the next generation of leaders, through the service that we do. Now, for every service project, every event, every activity that we do, we have a chairperson, we have a secretary, we have a treasurer, we have a committee. All of these individuals are leaders that lead this project towards success. So ultimately, yes, we do a service project, but our objective is to develop those leaders through the service project, right? So whatever service that we conduct, I think the ultimate goal should be to develop leadership, quality leadership that will lead not just within the Leo movement, but ultimately go out of this Leo movement and serve the society, right? Serve the community that they live in, serve the country. That is what we lack, right? That is something that we lack. We lack quality leaders. Right? We have people that can give services everywhere, but we lack quality leaders within our country. So that is something that we as Leo leaders have to develop, because even in Leo, by the key definition of Leo, leadership experience opportunity, leadership is the ultimate purpose that we have. So I think ultimately, out of service, if we exclude service, I think the key aspect that we have to actually focus on ultimately is quality of leadership.
Okay. Like you said, definitely leadership does take the spotlight within the Leo.
Exactly.
And our next question is, what's one piece of advice you would give to aspiring Leo leaders who want to make a real difference?
An advice that I would give. Two things. Okay. So one is develop your passion within the Leo. You have to be very passionate about what you do. Number one, be very passionate. If you want to, I would not say survive in the Leo movement. There's no surviving. That's not the correct word. If you want to develop yourself in the Leo movement, or if you want to go up the ladder, or if you want to have that bond, have that connection, do something successful, do something meaningful within the Leo movement, the number one thing you have to have is passion. You have to be passionate about what you do, right? In anything, right? Whether it's Leo, whether it's your studies, whether it's something else, you have to have that passion. Number one. And after having that passion, you have to gain knowledgeable. You have to be knowledgeable. Now, Leo is one of those places you can gain a lot of knowledge, right? We have these things called protocols, we have guidelines, we have rules, we have different things that we do within the Leo movement, right? Even how we conduct a meeting, how we position people on the stage. There are different ways, there are different things, how we do reporting, right? We have to have a certain level of knowledge in order to make our passion a reality, right? So it's not just about having passion. In order to go up the ladder, in order to develop yourself within the movement, you have to gain that knowledge as well, right? It comes in waves as well. It's not very straightforward. You have to go ahead and find it. There might be areas that you might lack in terms of knowledge. So you have to speak with people. You have to find different things, maybe within the internet, or go here and there, talk with people, right? So I think the two most important things, have that passion and also gain that knowledge within the Leo movement, because those two things are the two areas that would balance, that would make you a balanced individual within the Leo movement. And then after, you can develop yourself, become a leader within the Leo movement, president maybe, district officer, district president, multiple, wherever. The foundation comes from your passion and your knowledge. So for a newbie that comes into the movement, what I would say is, number one is develop your passion. Whether it might be to conduct projects, have friendship, have a quality friendship, to travel maybe, to gain recognition, whatever, right? Create that passion within yourself, and then learn how you can make that passion into a reality, gain that knowledge, and then you will become successful within the Leo movement within a couple of years or so.
So thank you so much for all those insightful perspectives and your experience that you've shared with us.
Yeah.
So we're stepping into the jazz segment of this episode. We are going to have a teddy bear auction. So pretend the teddy bear is a priceless artifact, and you have to conduct a hilarious mock auction to sell it to the audience. You have to explain why the teddy bear is extremely valuable and convince us to buy it. So we have the teddy bear here.
Okay. It has an eye, no? Cover. Now I have to sell this.
Yes, you have to explain why it's so valuable.
Huh? That's all the years, no? No, I was checking whether it's missing anything. So I can say it's missing this and all that, right? Okay. So, okay, dear ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful teddy bear right here. This is a teddy bear that has been passed down from the first district president, Leo Sadeepa Guru. As you can see, it's in great condition, in a golden color with a very nice pink bow. It still has all its aspects, the eyes, the ears, and all that. Nothing is missing. Even the tail is right there, if you can see here. So this is a 20-year-old teddy bear, as I said, passed down from our very first district president, Mr. Sadeepa Guru. So it is come to my hands right now. So I would like to, hand it out to the next set of Leos, to the next generation of Leos. So this is priceless. So I can't, specifically give a price as to say whether 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, or maybe. But although it's priceless, I will give this to for an individual starting off with 10,000 rupees. Yes, this is priceless, but they have to sell it somehow. So starting with 10,000. Any buyers from the audience starting with 10,000? I think we have a bidding right here. I see a finger raising like this. Even though you all might not see it, I see it from my third eye. The finger is raising right now. So we have 10,000 right here. We have 15,000 right here. I can see another finger is raising. So 15,000 going once, twice. Oh, I see a 20,000 right here, right? So 20,000, you have a great bargain right here. So 20,000, I will give it to 20,000, going once, going twice, going twice, sold to 20,000 to this lovely lady right here. So this 20-year-old teddy bear passed down from our 20 years of legacy is going down to you.
Thank
So-
you so much. I was selling that for 20,000.
20,000. How much was it actually? I don't know.
We got that for free actually as a gift. So
20,000.
your profit.
Yes. Give 10,000 to me then. We really need it.
Okay, Ayata, thank you so much for that fun session as well. Really and a really nice colors to the
Thank
entire
you.
episode. So thank you.
Thank you for inviting me as well. Yeah. So, any comments I can add here? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, okay. So, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this. I think it was a wonderful session for me as well. I think different aspects that I might not even thought about from my end as well. So, again, thank you for arranging this lovely place for me to be here. And again, thank you for inviting me. And hope you can have other council officers involved as well, because it would be a great experience for them as well. And again, thank you so much for having me.
And that's a wrap on our first episode of Leo Talks. Hope you enjoyed the ride. Let's all keep that Leo spirit burning bright. Catch you all next time.